Mr. Gabriel can take it from here.
Great. Well, again, I think what I'd like to first do is just thank our jurors. Tremendous amount for their contribution over the last 2 days, especially obviously the difficulties that they endured yesterday, as well as our audience. So kudos to all of you for bearing with us as we kind of work through a lot of these issues. There's a lot of people to thank for this tremendous process. It's been an amazing, really kind of learning time, I think, for all of us. And the feedback that we've just gotten from the jurors also has given us some additional things to think about as we look at making additional recommendations. Coming into this process, I think there were a series of considerations that I had heard, and a number of us had heard from different lawyers and judges about just being really skeptical or anxious about conducting a trial online. And while there's obviously a vast amount of technical and complicated issues that have to be resolved in the courts to implement the technology to do an online trial, and as we saw yesterday, there's lots of technical problems to overcome, there were some real benefits over the 2 days that I think some of the jurors articulated. Some of the concerns that I've heard in the past have to do with the ability actually to listen to jurors, whether you're going to be actually seeing them during the voir dire process, and whether you can feel like you get to know that juror, and whether that juror is going to be appropriate for your jury. And I think the attorneys have said that was something they felt like they were able to do. I think there was a concern that I've heard from a lot of attorneys about how are jurors going to be able to judge witness credibility. And I think that the jurors have clearly articulated that being able to have this sort of close-up view of that witness actually gave them a pretty good look at that witness and able to judge not only their credibility, their body language, but also the ability to kind of watch exhibits. And the exhibit thing obviously has some technical elements to it that we need to do. I think one of the biggest takeaways that we all learned over the last 2 days is obviously this is a fairly complicated issue. One of the jurors in this main breakout room, though, said there's something different about sort of the connection that she felt with a lot of the other jurors in the process, where there's something more formalized about the courtroom process and a little more detached. In this, where you're actually really facing somebody for an extended period of time, that becomes a sense of connection. And so that's sort of an interesting learning piece with this. I think a lot of things that we learned over the last couple of days was obviously how complicated this is, but we thank you all for such a great experience. I think I'd like to just do a couple of quick thank yous to, first of all, the judges on our committee, Judge Hastings, Judge Rao, Judge Klein, who played one of our witnesses today, for their input. They've been tremendous in terms of providing us a great deal of feedback. Our attorneys, Jillian Hayes and Dan Friedenthal, have also put a tremendous amount of time just preparing this case for us. And I really want to thank them for doing this. Obviously, there's tremendous amount of input from everybody on our committee, from Alicia Aquino and Ted Brooks, who handled so many things about getting us organized and handling all the tech issues. While we're on tech, I cannot say enough about Sarah Murray, who was our tech bailiff today, and also has provided tremendous amount of feedback in terms of all kinds of from the questionnaires to the platforms to the just helping to organize us and keep us on track and up to speed on a lot of things here. She's been really invaluable for this. Ron Beaton of Trial Behavior Consulting, Lisa DeCaro, who was the plaintiff trial consultant of Courtroom Performance, who worked with the plaintiff attorney, who also was working with the jurors today. Chris Dominic of Songas Trial Consulting, obviously, who helped us with this. Jeff Frederick of Jury Research Services, who worked a lot with the jury selection aspect of this, along with Sarah Murray and the questionnaires. Ken Brodebaum, who was one of your moderators just now, who also provides tremendous input, as well as Karen Lisko of Perkins Coie, who you just spoke to. Ken and Karen have both been involved in all the process here. We've also been joined by Jim McMillan from the National Center of State Courts, who's provided a lot of great input. Len Matheo and Amy Arpon and Cindy Laudadio Hill were our witnesses today, and they did a fantastic job, I thought, really giving us a very accurate view of really what witness testimony would be. I really want to thank Irene Boca and Civicom yesterday. They struggled with the technology. They really helped us understand that. All of the judges, attorneys, and court administrators that we've talked to over the last 3 months who have talked to us and given us all the feedback that has brought us to today, and I'm sure we will continue to get valuable feedback. Our ASTC colleagues, obviously, who keep giving us feedback. And I mean, quite frankly, this is, and you who have watched us today, this is as I said earlier, an experiment. It is about us being able to really find a path forward on this, to give a variety of tools, a lot of options to the courts, so that as they pursue this, whether it's in part, in parcel, just using a portion of it, or whether they want to conduct an entire trial online. All of you have contributed to giving us and the courts and the legal profession many more ideas about how they might pursue this with greater efficiency, greater clarity, and greater efficacy as they pursue this. So I really want to thank all of you for your time over the last 2 days. And we again welcome you. Jurors, please fill out those questionnaires. There's a release that we have you fill out for those participants who watched over the last 2 days. We really value your feedback. Please write to us with your questions, concerns, thoughts, and fill out your feedback. And with that, I really want to thank you for your time. And we'll talk to you again soon, hopefully.
And Richard, thank you for your leadership and vision. This wouldn't even exist without that.
Thank you.
With that, I'm going to stop the recording with great thanks to all the participants. Jurors, if you want to remain to access the questionnaires in the chat, we will keep the meeting room open for a few moments, so people do not need to leave immediately, but the recording will be stopped now. Thank you.